Good evening. I'm Timo Lehtonen, the CEO of Bioretec. It's my pleasure to be here today to talk about our company, our products, give a status update from the past year, and also talk about planet activities for the next year. As we are a rather new company to the stock exchange, I will first give a brief introduction of the company. So Bioretec is a company who develops, manufactures, and sells bioresorbable orthopedic implants. We were founded in about 20 years ago. Our headquarters, production and R&D is in Tampere, Finland, and then we have a small R&D site in our subsidiary in Austria. Currently, we have a headcount of 28, so we are a rather small company. Even though calculating together the experience what we have from bioresorbable orthopedic implants, it's well over 200 years. And we were listed to the Helsinki First North Marketplace about a year ago. So our vision and our goal is produce bioresorbable implants to benefit the patients and improve their quality of life. The bioresorbable implants what we made means to the patient that there is less harm, less discomfort, less recovery when the implant is bioresorbable, and there is no need for removal surgery. And like with all surgeries, there is a risk of complications. So when there is one less surgery than with traditional implants, there is also less risk for complications. For surgeons, this means also that now they can just concentrate on value-creating measures, so primary surgeries. And always, like there is less complications, there is less risk also from the removal surgeries from surgeons. And what this means to whole society and healthcare system, it's more efficient use of healthcare resources. Operation room time costs several thousands, so now we remove one of the surgery, so we reduce also total cost of care. Currently we have two lines of products. One is commercially available, called Activa, and then we have a new products coming, which is called Remios. But first, about the commercially available Activa products. They are made from biopolymer called PLGA. That's a biopolymer which has an extensive and long history of safe use. We have used these implants in several hundreds of operations. There is no report serious adverse events, so it's fully biocompatible and safe. But when it's made from biopolymer, it doesn't have the same strength as metals, so it's meant for non-load-bearing applications, and that means applications for sport medicine and pediatrics, and then anatomical locations like shoulder, elbow, knee, ankle, and foot. This resolves about in 2 years. But what this brings to us is that we have also experience how to develop safe products, how to bring them market, how to do the registration. So therefore we have a strong foundation when we are now launching the Remios products. So what differentiates Remios products from Activa? The biggest thing is both are bioresorbable, but Remios are made from biodegradable metal. So it's an alloy made from magnesium, zinc, and calcium. Those are all natural and essential for bone healing and fracture healing, and also safe. But as they are metal products, even though that they are bioresorbable, they have a metallic properties, and that means they can be utilized in the larger variety of anatomical locations, starting from the neck until the ankle and foot. They also utilize the same surgical techniques as traditional steel and titanium, so there is nothing new to learn from the surgeons. What is also important with this material, when it's made from magnesium, zinc, and calcium, which were essential for bone healing, so they also enhances bone growth. So they are bioactive, osteopromotive. We are developing a pipeline where the first product are trauma screws, which will be available in 2023. Then we have in the pipeline K-wires, which are like self-drilling nails and pins, then intramedullary nails and spinal cages. So the first product group is the trauma screws. They are used in the fracture fixation, and we have different designs like you see here, and different sizes, because they will be also used in variety of anatomical locations and indications. We have proven the safety and efficacy of this product in several preclinical studies and also clinical studies. Even look until third year of follow-up to see that the patient has healed, the implant has disappeared. I already mentioned about bioactivity and the osteopromotive effects, and that's really important when we look on the Remeos product, that during its time of fracture healing, it start to also help the bone heal itself. So here we can see in the left-hand side, in the blue circle, there is a CT image from the sheep trial, in vivo trial, and the middle of the circle is the Remeos screw. But already in 6 weeks, that almost totally covered with the new bone. The 6-week time is usually time what bone or the fracture requires for healing. In the right-hand side, we have the reference screw from titanium in the orange circle. In the middle of that, you can see the head and the end. There hasn't been any change, neither any new bone formation. When the time goes forward, the Remeos screw degrades further and the new bone grows until it's totally disappeared in 2 to 3 years' time. Here in 12 weeks time point, in the left-hand side, in the lower corner, we can see that it's already totally covered by new bone. In the right-hand side, we have again titanium, which is pretty much intact. And that is how titanium stays until it's removed if it's necessary. So this is the really clear example what is the bioactivity, osteopromotive properties of our Remeos alloy and screws. So also, what is driving this product? What is driving the market? We all know that people are becoming older, the share of the elderly people are increasing. We are also more mobile, we do more sports, and that means the number of trauma is increasing, and demand for the orthopedic implants grows. On the other hand, we have, and we know that we have a lack of operation room time, we have a lack of healthcare professional capacity, and that then leads to other direction. So there is a growing demand for advanced orthopedic implants like ours. And by the end, this is measured by value-based healthcare, and that means what is the patient benefit and value that she and he gets with acute cost. And when we remove operations, we lower the cost. The patients get good healing, and we answer with our both products, Activa line and the new Remeos line, to these growth drivers. Let's take a look on the past year, what we have done. So in the Remeos line, on the trauma screws, we have submitted market authorization request both in US and Europe. In US, that's a de novo application we submitted in May. Currently, we are supplementing that application to be completed by this year, and we expect the approval in April 23. In Europe, it's a CE mark that we submitted a year ago in December 21, and we are still waiting some of the feedback. And that's pretty much the situation what is ongoing in Europe when we go the transition from directive to regulation. And the last information what we have is that nowadays the new certification takes approximately 18 months. but there is uncertainty on how crowded the notified bodies are. So our expectation is have the approval in 23 and not give a more accurate estimation on that. Of course, we will update when we get more information. Also in the Remios K-Wire, so the next product to be commercialized, we are now constructing the clinical trial study site to start the clinical trial of K-Wire. Also, a significant event was in fall when the hybrid composite, that's the material we will use in intramedullary nails and spinal cages, got patented. That's what has been happening this year in the development side. In the sales side, we can see from the Activa line, which is the commercially available line, that there is a really strong growth. And that's due to the fact that this product is also answering to market drivers. So already what we reported in the first half year report, that the growth was more than 30%. Of course, when we are now talking about the launch and the approval of Remios screws, the important question is the commercialization of that. There we are following the best practices of the industry, so working together tightly with key opinion leaders, having the education and training in place to create the product awareness. So far, and these are the things below here that we have already started and will continue in the next year. So we have started the discussions with key opinion leaders. We have had roundtables also with them to create the product more known. We have the regulatory approvals ongoing. We have started the preparations for product introduction both in the Europe and US. For US, we have identified the really key hospitals to have a controlled launch in US. And then, of course, we will have forthcoming year a strong presence on the orthopedic key conferences, both trauma and pediatric. Then again, the planned activities for research and development is that finalizing the third year follow-up for Remios screws. Then, like I mentioned, we are contracting now the study sites for K-Wire clinical trial, is then to receive the first interim results from there. From Activa side, in the intramedullary nail for pediatric care, we have a post-market clinical follow-up ongoing. That will continue. So far, we have completed about 60% of that. As well as we have an ongoing study for children's wrist fractures, which is now about 70% completed. So we are taking that to the final steps. And then, of course, we are continuing the IM nail and spinal gauge development based on the hybrid composite. Also, it's now a good time to take a look on what is going on in the orthopedic markets. So it's looking like that now we are recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic. And the total market, 54 billion, it's recovered in the same level that it was before the pandemic started. But from this 54%, the addressable market is for us is of course the trauma section. And based on our pipeline, the addressable market is about 7 billion. And that's geographically really concentrated in US. More than 65% is accounted by USA. But the first product that we are now bringing to the market is the trauma screws. And I think it's really good to really look on how the trauma screw market looks like in these our two main market areas, both in USA and Europe. It's a big market, it's a significant market. In USA, trauma screws is expected to be in year 23 about $500 million. In Europe, 300 million. So altogether 800 millions. And already today, there is a bioresorbable screw market. In USA, about 90 million. In Europe, about 50 million. And this is something that we can directly assess when we come with the new product on the market. Not even start eating from the titanium and stainless steel, there is a 140 million rapidly growing market. And when I look, say rapidly growing and looking on the expected growth, so it has been estimated that in the US, the bioresorbable screws will grow about 9% per year, when traditional implants like titanium only 3%. In Europe, that's even stronger, where the estimated growth rate is 16% per year, when the titanium is about 2%. So based on the analysis, bioresorbable trauma screw usage is expected to grow significantly faster than traditional, and this creates a really good, strong market with our first products. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Timo, for the
Antti.
presentation. Let's start with the forum question. If you had to recruit 10 new employees immediately, how would you position them?
Well, I think that was a good question. I have been thinking that a lot. And I would divide it so that we need to reinforce our production. We are coming to the market. Also, Activa products is growing strong. So there would be reinforcement. And then, of course, we have a new product to be launched. So then sales and marketing.
Yes. Okay, so we are waiting for the decisions from the market authorization on the trauma screws. And if we think about your two main markets, USA and Europe, the competitive landscape looks different. So in Europe there are some similar products on the market, and in the USA, at least to my knowledge, are none yet metallic screws. So how do you see that those two markets and entering them?
Well, like you said, it's a little bit different scenario. In USA, there is no such a product, at least, like you said, your knowledge, not either my knowledge. So it's a virgin market, huge opportunity. But also, you need to enter the market that haven't had such a product. You need to do education, you need to training, create the product awareness there. In Europe, there is some competitors. They are already with the CE mark, they're in the market. So they're doing already that work. But then again, looking on the market size, there is a room for the players. More market will achieve when more product awareness comes. So it's a difference between Europe and US.
And if you think about the European market, what is your competitive advantage against those existing products?
I think they're looking on companies called Medical Magnesium or Syntelix from Germany. They are both using an alloy which are using rare earth elements, which are like we have magnesium, calcium, zinc, which are natural. Rare earth elements are not belonging to the human body. So what is the long-term effects on those? Don't know. There is some publications that they will stay a long time in the body. So we have a really healthy implant if we compare to them.
Okay, then thinking about the very interesting US markets, and you will get the decision on the FDA in April or March, April, around that time. So how confident are you that you will get the approval at this point versus prolonged wait?
Well, that's a good question because I'm confident from the behalf what we have done the work. We have now done some supplementing on statistics and some questions for what the FDA had. So I'm quite confident on having that. But every time when we talk about FDA and authority, you cannot give any guarantees on that, of course.
Sure, it's their decision.
Yeah.
When you think about then going to the new market, there's some experience in Europe, but if we think about the US markets, and often the doctor is the person who makes the decision whether to continue using the titanium screws or switching to magnesium screws, maybe Bioretec magnesium screws. So what do you think is how do you need to convince the doctor? What are really the key points that you have to do to convince them?
I think, like for the USA, the surgeons, they have known bioresorbable products a long time. One of the key, when I have discussing with the key opinion leaders, they have that, yeah, the strength is not the same. There is a little bit different surgical technique on biopolymers. Now we come with the metal product, which feels like metals, which works as a surgical method, as a metal, and it has the enhancing or osteopromotive properties. So they understand that, okay, now we are entering area that biopolymers or traditional couldn't bring.
Good. Then a final question about the key opinion leaders, and this is a kind of a strategy that many companies would like to use to interact with the key opinion leader strategy. So can you just give some concrete examples of what it actually means? So if you succeed in this, then what is the relationship and what happens with those key opinion leaders?
Well, the key opinion leaders, first of all, they are experienced, they are professors, they have their own faculty, they have younger guys who they teach and they follow what this guy is doing, what he's talking and giving his strong opinion that what should be the method for using and what is the surgical technique. And we have a really good connection on the orthopedic surgeons, well-known surgeons, and working together with them and talking with them that, okay, these are the properties, are how you see it. Also bringing it to development of their point of view, but also then they share the information to forward. Have them talking in big conferences, how they see it. And I think they are key opinion leaders. They have a scientific point of view. So they have a neutral, if they say that this works, it's their strong scientific opinion.
And you are already selling to 40 countries your Activa portfolio, so do you already know the people or start getting to know them now?
We know a lot of them already. We have already gathered and key opinion leaders. If you look, we have from Asia, from Europe, from USA, and with them we work really tightly. Yes. Because that's also bringing their years experience back to our development.
Thank you, Mart, very much, Timo, and we will end our nice session for now. So thank you very much for watching and hope to see you again soon.